What is going on, Lunatic Fringe? The markets are all saying the same thing. They're saying that in the month of July, we're about to have an explosive rally. Will that apply to Terra Luna Classic? Well, it's going to be complicated. What is anticipated is a move between 120 to 130,000 on Bitcoin. Once we get to that point, there'll be a lot of profit taking. When there's profit taking, typically in this market, that moves down to the major altcoins. That means that Ethereum, Solana, XRP, Cardano are all going to get on big runs. But then once the profit's made from those, then it trickles down into mid caps, and we fall in that mid cap range right now. So make sure you hit the like button. I'm going to explain exactly what's going on, and then you'll be informed as well. Plus, the market module. This is going to be a massive, massive thing when it's all said and done. The market module is going to be up for discussion in the next couple of days. We're going to be having a Spaces on X next Sunday. I want to say at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we're going to go over what you need to know about the market module and how it's going to affect Terra Luna Classic going forward. And by the way, during the course of this week, maybe we should start looking at that and figuring out, what kind of, let's use AI, try to figure out what kind of burns could we anticipate? What could we do? I don't know the answer to that. That's what the smart people do. I'm just the monkey right here with the microphone. So hit the like button on the way in. Let's go. Before we unpack this, make sure that you sign up at Terra Casino. On Friday, we gave away $1,000, 10 $100 winners for Terra Casino. If you want to be a winner, the only way to become a winner in this day and age is signing up at Terra Casino. If you don't, you're what's the opposite of winner? You know the word. If you're trading meme coins, particularly the greatest meme coin to ever grace the Terra Luna Classic ecosystem, and that is the Believe crypto coin, you can do that at teraport.finance and sign up there today and start trading. All you have to do is attach your wallet. There's a swap down here in the corner, and if you want to get the Believe coin, well, it's real simple. Click on degen mode, type in Believe. Why am I in the degen category, by the way? And then boom, we're ready to go. All right, let's kick off the discussions here. Terra Luna Classic price prediction for the next 5 years. This is an AI generated. I'm not really sure I like what they've said about it, but they've given an idea of what they think we're going to end up over the next 5 years, and I disagree fundamentally with this. Basically, what they're saying is the way that the market is moving, that it's probably downward momentum. Doesn't take into account any innovations, doesn't take into account any growth that's happening out here in this chain. So now the next thing up is retrieve and deposit at least 1.5 million from off-chain sources into a Terra Luna Classic recovery fund via an authorized legal entity for the benefit of the TC community and token holders. This is from Juke Knights. So what this says is the proposal co-signers, Rex Wood, Victoria Critchley, have located off-chain assets worth over 1.5 million, which they wish to retrieve for the Terra Classic community. Co-signers propose the formation of a legal entity that can interface with the government authorities and regulators for the purpose of securing those funds. The co-signers will cover legal expenses and have already queried attorneys while searching for off-chain assets. These co-signers will dox KYC to authorities. The co-signers will not be requesting any money from the Lunk community pool, but it will instead be paid a 20% finder's fee on all assets they manage to retrieve. Net assets retrieved by the legal entity will be deposited within a Terra Classic recovery fund after an 80-20 split, 80% for the community, 20% for the co-signer's fee. Depending on legal mandates, the money will be distributed as a single deposit into a KYC validator over the funds. After the funds have been secured and dispersed, the legal entity will be handed over to the Terra Classic community to staff and use as voted by community governments. The co-signers pledge to handle the proceedings with full transparency, and if this proposal passes, will act in the benefit of the Terra Classic community. Legal fees for this endeavor are somewhat in the range of $100,000 due to the estimated complexity of the proceedings and will be covered fully by the co-signers. If no assets are retrieved, then the co-signers will not be paid anything, regardless of how much money they've spent on legal fees throughout the retrieval effort. The co-signers intend to secure at least 1.5 million from the Terra Classic community, and possibly even more if their attorneys' efforts are successful. Now, there is an introduction here, and we should go over this. You guys should read this and see exactly what the risks are and what the potential rewards are. And if it checks out, then maybe we could consider something like this. Now, here it is right here. This is where it gets real interesting. Nobody's interested in that money coming back over. What they're worried about is burn them. Don't create a recovery pool. This is basically a burn proposal. 1.5 million, just burn it all. So And by the way, they're going to tell you that they're not here for the revitalization of the Terra Luna Classic community. They're here because there's $300,000 on the line. They think they can get the money. They're almost guaranteed that they can get the money, so it's worth them risking $100,000 to make another $200,000 to make this happen. But I think the interest here is best served by burning those tokens that are out there. But the problem with that is they're probably already out of circulation. Like, we're not talking about circulating supply or anything like that. Or if we are, I'd like to see it. I would like to see, and what does 1.5 million? I mean, if you really just kind of break down the price action. Now, of course, a buy like this would be massive. We just have to assume at this point we're at 4 zeros, 56.29. So, I mean, basically at 1.5 million, you're talking about what looks to be about 26 billion tokens, coins to be burned. So a 26 billion burn is a significant amount. Remember, I told you that we need 2 billion per week. So, this takes up half a year, or, a quarter of a year in one fell swoop. So it's not insignificant in its portion. Certainly would like to see it 15 million, but we'll take this. This is a win if it all checks out. So we'll find out pretty soon. We'll go through this. I'll go through this in my time, and we'll figure out whether or not we agree with this or we don't agree with it. In the meantime, Garuda X on the move. Terra coming down just a little bit, but Terra had a nice little pump. See here, is it 2.035? Was it 2.033 on Friday? So it's having a little bit of a move to the upside, despite being down 3% on the day. Jurus just kind of trending sideways right now. However, it should be noted, and this is important, Jurus is basically sitting at or near its all-time high. Started as a meme token on a dead chain. If you remember, it was called Rackoff. What a jack-off Rackoff was. Was I funny? Come on. I was hilarious. Anyway, it started off kind of as a joke, and then it became something more. And now it's going to be probably the most important component of the Terra Luna Classic ecosystem. I think we should all be excited about what Jurus is potentially going to be for the future. Also, when it comes to validators, we're still seeing a precipitous decline in a lot of the validators. It's getting moved around. Now, when you look at it overall, you're seeing that this money is getting moved around. Moonshot down 25 million, Interstate down 25 billion. Where's that other one? Interstellar down 34 billion. Like, we like to see this. When you're not good for the community, we like to see this when it happens. So, if you're a bad actor, or if we consider you a bad actor and you're not voting for us and you're voting for yourself, then no place for you. By the way, I found out I have $34 in Luna tokens, and I have 3 times as much Luna sitting in locked up, still locked up. I don't even know when I get it, or maybe I just didn't get it and it's burned. But anyway, I don't have any Luna from which to worry. Now let's look at the price action. So looking at the chart, I mean, basically what you're seeing is a consolidation in this range, but this range is at the bottom. So, again, there has to be, kind of an impetus. So I think that, and I would suspect that over the next couple of days, we're going to start seeing a little bit of focus on the market module potentially becoming something fantastic. I mean, it really, in the event that it could be, this would be just a paradigm shift, a game changer, if you will, in every stretch of hyperbole, in every way that you could imagine. This is potentially an absolute breakout contender based on narrative. Now, the narrative of institutions not getting into Terra Luna Classic. So we're relying on retail. And then when you break it down fundamentally by retail, we're relying on the Asian world to do that. And we've got a lot going on in South Korea right now, which would probably lead to some of that happening. Now, the problem with some of that happening is the other side of that, and that is, how do they feel about Do Kwon? How do they feel about all of the bad things that have happened so far? Will Do Kwon get a pardon? What's going to actually ultimately happen? We don't know the answer to that, but there is some potential here for a massive upside. Now, again, we're going to face tremendous resistance right there in that upside move at around 3 zeros 11, 3 zeros 12. We haven't broken into these ranges yet, but it is coming, and we should recognize that. Now, if you don't understand why it's coming, you're not paying attention. What I'm giving you right now is peak bull market indicators, okay? There are 30 peak bull market indicators. None of them have been triggered. At best, you get Bitcoin dominance, which is one of them. which gets triggered when it's over 65%, but it's down to 64 right now. That one gets triggered all of the time as Bitcoin comes up, 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 and away. And in fact, that will probably trigger pretty soon, and we'll be sitting at 1 of 30. But that means hold. That means that we're not near or even close to the top. You start to look at your multiples here. The AHR is at 1, should be at greater than 4. Pi cycle indicator is about halfway to where it should be. The pool multiple is a little bit over halfway to where it should be. The rainbow chart puts us about mid-range. Again, we've got a blow off top coming. There's a lot of different pieces to this equation. None of them are telling us we're in a bear market. All of them are telling us that we're in a bull market, and also we're in the holding phase of the bull market. The whole idea here is to sell at the top. Well, we're not even close to the top right now, according to every indicator. So hold, that's why it matters. And just for full disclosure, this is the money flow chart. This yellow line that's going up, up, up and away, that's the money flow chart. And the money flow chart says that capital is still flowing into crypto. Now, you will notice that there's been a deviation. We had this big move at the same time that one happened. We also had that one happen, and we also had that one happen. You know, it's not an exact science. It's very close, but it's not exactly linked. Now, what we haven't seen is we haven't seen a catch up to this level. So we're behind. So I would suggest to you that hold on tight, because it's about to happen. Again, I think we've moved from major alt cap to mid market cap. So I think that the funding coming back into Terra Luna Classic is going to be a little bit slower. But again, interest I think is going to pick up because of the market maker, the market module, because of what's happening in the background, which will be announced in the next couple of days, and people will start to hear about it. I think there's going to be some serious interest in Terra Luna Classic just from the speculative investor revival sort of community, not from not from the build it and they will come sort of group yet, not yet. That's coming when something like Jurus Protocol starts to launch, when we get Garuda DeFi fully up and operational. Remember, it only has Terra Luna Classic, could have multiple different chains. So there's a lot to unpack here. Now, again, the most important part, I think, in my opinion, is going to be this ratio right here. We want to get back up at least into that ratio. We want to show that we are attempting that, and that is the 4.236 ratio from that last big pump. Once we get to a ratio in an area like that, then I think that we're going to be doing really, really good. All right, so it's just a matter of time at this point before it all falls into place, in my opinion. As far as volume goes, we're up a tiny bit on the day. Same thing with USTC, up a little bit on the day. Burn tracker showing 563 million. Not very much being burned right now over the days, which just means that volume is down. Again, volume right now in this market is still retail, but it's largely institutional money coming in. And every day we're seeing these big treasury buys from all these major companies and corporations, and what they're doing is they're stacking up their Bitcoin. Well, that Bitcoin is going to mature into a major profit for a lot of these companies, and they're going to be motivated to sell to meet debt or something like that. And of course, a lot of these companies are just using it as a hedge against the dollar, which is failing. Yesterday, Elon Musk formed the America Party, and then he was asked, would you be considering Bitcoin or crypto? And he said, fiat is dead. Of course we would. It's digital asset time. So there's a lot to unpack. The money hasn't really moved the market the way that you wanted it to, but that doesn't mean that it's not coming. It just means that it's taking longer than what we originally thought. But it will happen, and it's going to happen soon. I think we're going to get another pump the same way that we got back in September, October, November. I think that that's going to start happening, and it's going to happen with a real rapid sort of ascent. But, again, you never know how this is going to play out. You just know that something big is on the horizon. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. And remember, none of this is financial advice, but I'm always right.